Hello everybody, I'm Shilpi Gupta, Assistant Professor, and in this video I will discuss about organized crime, its meaning, characteristics, classifications and the legislative enactment which is passed in India to deal with it. Crime is any type of act which is forbidden by law and the violators of such law have to undergo the pain of punishments. So, if we barely look upon the term crime and organized crime, the difference itself lies in the word organize, which means an act based on exclusive planning that shows the effort of group of individual. Such we can say that organized crime is an illegal act committed by two or more criminals jointly in an organized manner. There is no universally accepted definition of organized crime. However, attempts are made by various criminologists and penologists to describe the crime. So, I have discussed in this video two important definitions of organized crime. The first one is by Dr. Walter Reckless, who has defined organized crime as an unlawful misadventure which is carried on by the boss, his lieutenants and operators who form a hierarchical structure for a specified period. So, Dr. Reckless has defined organized crime like it is a hierarchy. Hierarchy means it's like a pyramid where a step by step people are there who are working in the organization, and the head of that hierarchy is the boss, and junior to him are the lieutenants, and more juniors are the operators, and they coordinated each other and work in order to uh, give perfect delivery of that crime. Another definition is by Sellin, who says that organized crime resembles those economic adventure or enterprise which are organized to carry on illegal activities. Now, why it is said economic adventures or enterprises? It is because they are working for some monetary gain and monetary profit, and that is why economic adventures is used, and they are working for such an economic profit, but the activity which they are performing is against law, that is illegal. So if they are carrying on any business which is illegal and carrying in an organized way, it looks like they are carrying a valid business, but actually they are engaged in illegal activities, then we can say that it is an organized crime. From the definition itself, some important and similar characteristics of organized crime is sorted here out. So here the first characteristics of organized crime is unity and cooperation among members. So they work as a team, and in that team there is ultimate unity and cooperation for giving effective delivery of their work. So if in this team any member of the team is under a threat of being caught, the other members are there to protect him. They give protection to the person, to the other member, for making him escape easy. Next is leadership. The leader is the boss who gives direction, which is strictly followed by all members, and disrespect towards him will lead to members for severe punishment. Next is division of work. There is a proper division of work between each member, and each member has a particular work to be performed. Next is secrecy. Total secrecy is maintained by the members regarding commission of such crime. They keep all information confidential, and if any member discloses any information, severe punishment is given to him. Next characteristic is well structured with proper planning. So as in one of the definition we have seen that a hierarchical arrangement is made. So this hierarchical arrangement is made and devoted for accomplishing a particular work, and for that proper planning is made so that they can give a valid disposal of the crime. Next is financial gain. So the organized crime is basically done for economic gain. So if there is no financial gain, there is no organized crime. So organized crime is purely done for making some economic benefits. Next is continuity. So this criminal group operates beyond lifetime of individual members. So it doesn't matter that who are the members, doesn't matter if any member dies, the work continues. The process of committing crime continues and it does not end with any members. So this is like an organization which is basically set up for committing a certain crime, and this organization is carried on by the people who are joining here. Next is to fulfill public unjust demand. Now, certain types of organized crime are there which is basically for giving supply of drugs, giving supply of illegal demands to the public itself, and for that, like a chain, the criminal work so that they can fulfill the demand by getting some economic gain from the public. Next is use of threat and force. Use of threat. That means in order to commit organized crime, people uses force, threat upon the person, upon the victim, so that the crime can be committed. Next is close liaison with other criminals. Other criminal groups always give support to the criminals of organized crime. As such, they are in close contact with all the criminal groups that if they fall in danger, the other can help and rescue them, and moreover, they can also smoothly work with the support of other criminal groups. Lastly, close liaison with police, politicians, and other administrative agencies. The organized criminals works with help which is given to them, unfortunately, from the police officials, from the politicians, because if they are caught, they are arrested with the help and support of the politicians, they generally escape the punishment and can carry on the work without any disturbances. So unfortunately, the administrative agencies, police, politicians have liaison with the organized criminals, and the organized criminals work smoothly with their help and cooperation. Organized crime can be classified into 4 categories on the basis of which the different organized criminals can be explained. The first category is organized predatory crime, second is crime syndicate, third is criminal rackets, and 4 is political crafts. So now let us discuss one by one the entire classification. The first one is organized predatory crime. Under organized predatory crime, there is practically no services provided to the affected person, that is the victim. It is a one-way transactions, and the entire benefit of this transaction goes upon the criminal. The criminal under organized predatory crime has an greater skill of committing this crime other than occasional criminals. They do a proper execution of crime, and in case of detection, they make a proper planning of escape. So ultimately, the victim is the person who is prejudiced, who has suffered because of this type of crime, and the criminal makes monetary and economic gains out of this type of crime. So The examples of organized predatory crimes are theft, robbery, dacoity, kidnapping, extortion. So, when a person commits a robbery, dacoity, or kidnapping, the victim who is actually suffered gains no services from that, and all the economic gains is made by the organized criminals. So that is why it is said that organized predatory crime. Second one is crime syndicate. Now, under crime syndicate, the criminals provide illegal services to the customers, whereas we have seen in the first classification there was no services provided to the victims. However, in this category of crime, services is provided to the customers. Now, that services is provided because of the demand of the customer, that is, people demand of these services, and they demand of these services, they are ready to pay any type of amount which is demanded by the criminals. Why they are ready to pay and why they demand of these services from the criminals? Because they cannot legally avail such services from the market. It is not readily available in the market because it is illegal. Now, why they are demanding illegal services? That is because they are not availing it directly. They cannot avail, like they cannot avail drugs or intoxicating products from the market itself. That is why these service providers, these illegal service providers, by getting huge profit, give them the supply, and in that way they are running their business in a very organized manner. They give supply in different areas. Areas are also fixed sometimes, and they attract customers so that they can give them supply of the drugs or intoxicating products. Moreover, commercialized prostitutions, gambling are also covered under the classification of crime syndicate. The third classification of organized criminals are criminal racket. So, an organized crime in which criminal elements perform a service to such members of society who are normally engaged in some legitimate business activities. They can be said as racketeers. These criminals perform services by availing huge amount for the legitimate business demands. Now, the difference between criminal syndicate and criminal racket is that under criminal racket, the services which are provided is itself exploitative to the customers. However, in criminal rackets, these services are profitable for the enterprises who hired these criminals. So, these services are provided in the area of labor racketeers, for gambling racketeers, etc. Now, to explain this, I will give an example of a business organizers and labor unions who depends on criminal rackets for improving their bargaining capacity. The labor racketeers draw salary in name of certain fictitious name without coming to work, and their attendance is marked by the interested parties who are participating in the racket. They make deal profitable to themselves with employers and in return offer protection to employees from strike and labor unrest, and also manipulate election to the unions of labor organizations by all means. As such, the customers, that means the business organizations, get benefit, and the benefit is that they can assure themselves that no further strike or labor unrest will be there, and they can smoothly carry on the business. On the other hand, the criminals, the criminal racketeers, they also get huge amount, demand whatever they make with the business organizations in order to give a surety to the organizations. The last classification is political graft. So, people of high status are believed to have connections with professional criminals. For obtaining political power, they engage persons to commit crime. These persons commit violence and usually resort to threatening for getting the work done for which they are engaged. For example, hiring professionals offenders who resort to violence and threatens to make voters cast their vote in favor of candidate for whom they are working. Vote buying is also an example of political graft. With the developing economy, industrial growth, and modernization, the scope of activities for different types of criminal organizations has considerably widened. Today, criminality in an organized form is known to exist on national as well as international level. So, in order to combat these type of crimes which is growing in such a wide manner, like smuggling, illicit sale of wine, and women pickpocketing, dacoity, gambling, etc., various laws has been passed, though there is no direct mention of organized crime in any of the code. However, there are various legislations which specifically deal with organized criminals. In India, some of the legislations are there which covers the organized crime. Indian Penal Code Section 120A deals with criminal conspiracy. Section 391 deals with dacoity. Apart from these, various state legislations are also enacted. One of those legislation which deals with organized crime is Uttar Pradesh Gangster and Anti-Social Activities Preventions Act 1986. The next is the Custom Act 1962. The Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1884 was also passed to deal with organized criminals who supply illegal drugs and other substances to the people. The last which I have mentioned here is the Public Gambling Act 1867. Apart from these also, there are various acts which covers the organized criminals. Apart from these specific legislations, there are also other legislations. However, in spite of all these, organized crime still increasing, and as such, it becomes necessary that stringent legal measures be launched for combating this intricate national problem. So, in this video, I have covered some of the very important aspects of organized crime, and I hope that this video will be useful for you. Thank you.